used to be a really outgoing person. People don't help me the way that I help them. They may promise to, but they don't keep their word and they don't have to. All of these rights that you have, that you guys assume that I have, I don't. The difference between me having those rights and not having those rights is whether somebody else gives a shit. That's the problem with being called mentally ill. Also, with everything that happened with Natalie's situation and all of these goddamn wing nuts, like, holy fuck. I shouldn't have had to go to those people. I should have been able to go to the police from the start. The fucked up thing is that I fucking tried. So there's this guy here in town. He keeps he keeps gonna leave. There's stuff that I've been working on trying to learn. You know, he kept on telling me for like a month and a half. He's telling me, "Well, I'm just gonna learn how to do this eBay thing, and I'll show you how to do it." Like, yeah, I'd like to believe you, but really, I'd rather talk to your friend who's supposed to be teaching you and give him some money and actually learn how to fucking do it. So I paid the money to learn how to do the eBay thing, and I didn't just get, you know, instructions over the phone. I went there in person. The guy helped me in person. I don't know why that's so complicated for people to understand. Like when you were called mentally ill, if you're autistic and you have to go in to talk to the police by yourself, there is something fucking wrong. We already know how the police treat the homeless. We already know how the police treat the disabled. We already know what happens if you get the body cameras. What about those cases where, with many of these other people who have been called mentally ill, you know, they weren't painted as fucking monsters. They weren't accused of doing shit that they didn't do. Not like this. I sure that one situation, the guy says, "Oh well, there's a gun, there's a gun, there's a gun, there's a gun," and I look at all the different fucking videos. I'm like, there's no fucking gun. There's no gun. The dude don't have a fucking gun. You didn't look at it from all the angles. You need to look at this one. I look at the one they show me, and I'm like, yeah, I see a gun. I don't see it on the suspect. Out of all of them cameras, if that suspect would have had a gun in his goddamn pocket, we would have seen the gun. We would have seen the gun had that officer actually pulled the gun out of that man's pocket. But no, we don't see the gun until the dude is at the back seat. This thing is supposed to be in this dude's pocket, and the first time that we see that gun in any of those is in the back seat after they've already fucking killed the dude. When you're called mentally ill, you don't have any fucking rights. You're not a human being. And people know that. You are not a human being to this society. People know that they can take advantage of you. People know that you need help. But they think that if they just procrastinate, that somehow the situation you needed help with will magically blow the fuck away. Well, while you were busy fucking procrastinating, the statute of limitations ran up. Even worse than that, these officers killed a lot of fucking people. This guy, he let Sandy come over. You know, I listened to Sandy bitch non-fucking stops. I just don't want to be around Sandy, especially after she threatened to fucking kill me. He bitches about her fucking all the goddamn time. I can't say nothing. Or I get the I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Hey, dude, if you don't fucking care, quit bitching at me about her, motherfucker. Holy shit. I don't want to hear it every fucking goddamn day, especially if you're not going to do a goddamn thing about it. Either stop bitching about her at me or tell her to get the fuck out of your house and stop coming back. If she's so bad that you're bitching at me for an hour and a half a goddamn day, why the fuck do I have to deal with it? Her bullshit didn't affect your fucking life, did it? No, it's just drama to you. Just fucking drama. So then every time I go over there, I get to listen to him about how he wants me to do this, and this on eBay. And then he's got this, and this he wants done, and that, and that he wants done. Like, holy fuck, dude, if you're not gonna fucking help me, holy shit. Don't call me 4 times a week to come fucking help you. I can barely take care of myself. When I'm done fucking having to deal with that, it takes me an entire fucking day just to recover from listening to you bitch for an hour and a half about fucking Sandy. And it's even worse if I got to deal with Sandy. I'm not allowed to say a goddamn thing, or it's I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. If you don't fucking care, why the fuck should I care? Why the fuck should I show up at your every beck and call? Why should I buy the useless shit that you're trying to cram at me and shove at me that I need to get? Sean, you need to get this, you need to get that, you need to get this, you need to get that. Hey, Sean, you want to buy this, 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 you want to buy this. No, I don't want to fucking buy that. I don't want to fucking buy it. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy any more stuff from you. I don't want to hear any more fucking bitching about Sandy Fromm. I don't. Any bitches that out of all these people that are coming over, I'm the only one who's not drunk. So I'm the only one that doesn't annoy the living piss out of him. Well, it's hard to annoy him like Sandy when I'm not allowed to speak. So he keeps gonna leave to go see family, but then when he does, he calls me and he says, "Well, I didn't leave today. You should come up and visit me." Like I don't want to visit. I don't. I don't want to go up there and listen to you bitch about Sandy. I don't want to deal with Sandy being a bitch to me when she shows up. I'm sure you say something to her, but you don't do it in front of me, and I get that. You know, that is important. It's not like he's being a fucking idiot as far as that goes. Whenever you confront somebody in public or in front of their friends or in front of their family, it automatically becomes a power struggle. Just because there are other people there, their pride is fucking hurt, and you're more likely to get violence out of them than you are to get them to admit that they fucked up. I don't want to deal with Sandy. If I gotta fucking see all of these pieces of shit, these are the coworkers, these are their friends. They talk. This dude up there, he thinks I'm his friend. I don't know how we can be friends when I help him, how he asks, but he can't even ask someone to knock it the fuck off. At the point where he's told me that he has asked her repeatedly to stop. He hasn't asked her to stop in front of me. And over the period of time that it's been, yeah, at some point, you gotta fucking say something while I'm there, dude. Not listen to her fucking pulling her bullshit and then telling me after she leaves, oh, well, I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something. Everybody was always fucking gonna. That's everybody's fucking excuse. I was gonna, I was gonna, I was gonna. But fucking did you? Did you treat me the way that you were expecting me to treat you? Were you giving me the same respect? When you're asking me to take time out of my day to help you, if you're not willing to take time out of your day to help me, it's not a mutual exchange. It's not. The stuff that I need help with, I need help with. The stuff that you need help with, you need help with. Now, if it's one person that is always following through and the other person never does, I mean, how is that a friendship? Also, Sandy Fromm, like, yeah, God, that is not an intelligent person to have in your life. Once I realized how fucked up the situation was, like, I'd already been hanging out with Sandy I'd already had that situation with Chris Kurth out there at her farm, by the way, as well as a bunch of other situations. But it's either listening to bitching about Sandy Fromm or it's listening to bitching about his friend trying to rip him off. Meanwhile, him and his friend finally got it all hashed out, but that was even more time. And then when I get my free time, he wants me to spend it to work on this eBay stuff for him. I'm like, dude, you got to stop calling me. You got to stop calling me. Today he just wants to hang out, and I get why. You know, when he hangs out with Sandy, he fucking doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to fucking deal with it. She's nuttier than fucking squirrel turds. But when she's gone, he wants to fucking bitch about her sure a goddamn mouth. It sucks when you're not allowed to speak. It does. When you need help and you're not allowed to speak. Before any of these people are going to be able to do me any good, they got to get off their fucking couch lock and their selfish bullshit. Like, you don't tell somebody who's disabled that you're going to fucking help them. And then they show up and they're the one that ended up helping you the whole fucking time. Like, hold on a second. We got to have some sort of an equal give and take here. If you are readjusting the deal every time that it's convenient for you, and every time you readjust the deal, I get just a little bit less out of it. You know, you say, hey, if you come with me and you help me with this project, then I'll do this or I'll do that. And I go on that project and I help you how you asked. I help you how you needed. And then afterwards, you don't keep your word and you tell me something different. You say, well, uh, I'm just gonna, you know, that thing you wanted, I'm just gonna give you that. Like that's not a fair trade, and I don't need that. You know, I just thought it was cool. And then it's well, you know, I don't want to hear the I has. I don't want to hear about Sandy Fromm. I don't want to see Sandy Fromm. Don't tell me anything about Sandy Fromm that you're not willing to stay to court, stay in the court. Don't tell me anything about Sandy Fromm that you're not willing to say to the police. Don't tell me anything that you wouldn't tell the police. Because if you're not coming forward, that information is just for manipulation purposes. And it's pretty fucked up to manipulate someone who is not allowed to fucking defend themselves. Someone whose words are already automatically discredited. Someone who you could literally rape and get away with. It's fucked up. Meanwhile, all these people have families give a shit. I'm trying to fucking deal with that. I really am. I'm trying to deal with the fact that people got all sorts of time to tell me what to do, but they don't have any time to help me do it. No matter how much time I make to help them do whatever they're working on. Hey, I jumped through the hoops. I made the time to fucking help you. You weren't having your life threatened. You weren't being assaulted. And you weren't going to lose your fucking place if I didn't come help. You didn't stand to lose anything. But you still wanted help. You're able to get the help that I need because you don't have that mentally ill tag over your head. But then again, when I'm spending all that time over there because I need help and I am fucking tearing my body down to nothing, it's not just the hour and a half of listening to the bitching. It's every day. Why would I go over there and listen to him bitch about Sandy and then listen to Sandy bitch? Because I need help. I'm still in a desperate situation. People, you know, they make empty promises. When you were called mentally ill, people don't have to keep their promises. They don't have to follow through. The laws, the way they're written, it says that because of my vulnerabilities from growing up in the foster care system, and because of my vulnerabilities from my disabilities, there's certain laws that are supposed to protect me, but only if they're observed. What these people did was against the law. It's against the law to do these things to anyone, but it's especially illegal to do these things to disabled people. And there's special rights concerning the fact that I used to be a ward of the state that also goes into that. And a lot of other shit that is supposed to go into consideration, but just simply isn't. It goes into only as far as enough to discredit me. That's the way those things are used. They're supposed to, on paper, they're supposed to help me. But then there's loopholes. And the fact they can turn off their cameras, and if you go alone, they probably will. I needed a safe environment where I was not stuck with abusive people. I couldn't stay in Colorado for my own safety reasons. No matter where I went, I had to go out of jurisdiction for my own safety. And then I have to go back into that jurisdiction to get all these court dates going. And I got to do it in person. I can't just do it over the fucking internet. I fucking tried. Like, no matter what, it doesn't fucking work. There are conversations with multiple people who fucking, most of them just took a look at it. Went, holy shit, dude, there is no option on here. One of the ladies at the Starbucks in Washington State, she sat with me for about an hour, 45 minutes. We tried to figure out how to fucking turn it in. There were just no options for it. And with my stuff getting stolen and try calling the police, fucking my stuff got stolen like 4 different times up there. And of course, you don't matter when you're homeless. Because people were abusive as fuck. A lot of the folks who worked at the Starbucks were abusive as fuck. It all depended on where I was at. There's people at nearly all the Starbucks that I went to that I could tell right away based on how they talked to me that they didn't like me. But they were Starbucks employees and they didn't want to lose their jobs for being assholes. It's supposed to be a safe environment. The one in Cheyenne, there was a gay guy who was the assistant manager. You know, he made it pretty clear that he doesn't like homeless people. He also made it pretty clear that he was insulted by the fact that the safe place rule that Starbucks has in place is supposed to be for gay people. Gay people aren't the only people targeted. Gay people aren't the only people who need a safe place. When you're gay, you have to worry about the general public, but there's laws that protect you. Just because you're gay, you get special rights. That doesn't mean that they're observed, does it? I see all these different groups. Their complaint is that their rights are not being observed and cops can do whatever the fuck they want. These people who had far less evidence than me and far less credibility than me get heard and they get help because they have families who care. All my family wanted to do was fucking treat me like shit. Like, holy fuck. What did I do to deserve this? Oh, yeah, I was born different. Born different. I don't have autism from fucking drug use. I don't have autism from a goddamn virus. And most of the shit that you guys are abusing me over, the goddamn narrative that you never fucking bothered to actually check into. This shit should have been taken care of in court. But you can't take care of it in court. You can't. When you're homeless, you get blown off by the police. You get blown off by the courts. If you are assaulted by the cops can literally prevent you from fucking pressing charges against them. They can railroad you in court by hiding the fact that you were fucking assaulted, by playing a fucking narrative, and they have to remove their body cameras entirely to do that. Their body cameras did record, according to Officer Gerhardt, but according to Amanda Balehash, they didn't. According to Amanda Balehash, she'd been trying to get the body cameras, and they didn't have any. When they fuck up and you're called mentally ill, they just play retarded. They pretend like you're retarded, and when it turns out that you're not, they play retarded. When those officers in Chesapeake, Virginia decided to fuck my car up even more, they'd already decided my guilt. They had already had their own personal court date in their mind, and their fucking fantasy is what they destroyed portions of my vehicle over. They didn't have any reason to fucking do that. I had a fucking panic attack and a meltdown over a fucked up situation. Problem is that because of the term mentally ill, I am vulnerable. I am vulnerable just because you use that fucking term. That dude up at the north end of town, selfish as fuck. He has redone his deal so many times. Like, dude, I have no time for my own shit. You call me when you want to hang out, that's cool. But you don't hang out with me, you bitch about Sandy. You bitch about Sandy. You bitch about Sandy. You're physically able to take care of yourself. You have a vehicle, you have an income, you have a family that will fucking help you and does. I don't have that shit. Stop expecting me to jump through fucking goddamn hoops. Stop expecting me to help you when you're not going to lift a goddamn finger to help me. And stop redoing the deal so that every time you redo the deal, I end up with half of what the deal was last time. That is taking advantage of me. If you're in a much better position than me and you're asking for my help, maybe try helping back. How about instead of, all right, well, I'm not going to do this, or this, and I'm going to expect this, and this out of you from here on in. But hell, boy, I'll let you use my vehicle. Well, thank you. I'm glad I get to use your vehicle. I'm pissed off that I've been wasting a bunch of fucking time and money. I'm pissed off because I'm trying to make you happy, and your fucking expectations with the fucking eBay thing, the fucking work that you want done. You want to go to this place, you want to go to that place, you want to go to this place, and you want to go to that place. You want help with this, you want help with that, you want help with this, you want help with that. I'm fucking overwhelmed. I need help too. I tried explaining that to Mandy Hughes. I need help too. I tried explaining that to Angela Kurzweil. I need help too. Explain that to Tabby. She swore up and down she was going to write it down. I am different than I used to be. I am different than I used to be because this is how I was treated after I hurt my back and could no longer perform manual labor for people. Because I got to live in environments that are unsafe. And I got people who tell me, oh, well, nobody's really safe. Somebody could break into my fucking house and do all sorts of this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, you've got the benefit of the fucking house. Laws don't stop criminals. They keep honest people honest. When people are in a desperate situation, they may be the most honest person in the world, but when they need somebody to take it out on, they're going to take it out on someone they can get away with taking it out on. If you're in the South, just pick a black person. If you're anywhere at all in the United States, pick a homeless person or someone who's different. Just call them mentally ill and it makes it okay. Makes it magically fine and dandy. Yeah, I was hoping he'd leave yesterday. I was hoping he'd leave the day before. When he calls and says, hey, you can come up and visit, I do feel pressured to do so. It's all right when we were first hanging out, but if every time we hang out, all it is me listening to you bitch about Sandy, we're not really hanging out. You need a fucking therapist. You need to hire a therapist to bitch about Sandy Fromm. If I'm not allowed to bitch at her, neither are you. I think that's fair. If I gotta listen to you bitch about Sandy Fromm every time I show up, but I'm not allowed to say anything, I just won't show up. You can't take the time to help me with the things that I need, but you're expecting me to help you with every goddamn thing that, if something happens today and I go over there and help him, there's going to be another issue tomorrow. And then I'll go tomorrow and he'll have another issue. And I'll explain to him, hey, I need a few days to fucking recover from this. So then he'll give me a day in between and then he'll call me the next day. And then I'm going over there, and when he's not bitching about Sandy, it's I want you to do this, and I want you to do that. Hey, I got the computer stuff. I got everything that we need to teach you how to do it, bud. Let's teach you how to do it so you will stop fucking hounding me. I will teach you in person. I paid that dude $150 to teach me how to do this shit on eBay, specifically so that I could teach this guy up north. Because he'd been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. You guys know me. I fucking expended a lot of goddamn resources for empty goddamn words. I'm gonna. I don't need your I'm gonnas. Fucking get off your ass and do it. With a lot of these people who promised to help me, like look at Shannon Alvarado. She was gonna help me. I got there. I ended up doing most of the helping and staying out of the way. and listen to a bunch of fucking screaming and having to pretend that I am calm the entire time. How am I not supposed to have anxiety when people are screaming at each other over stupid shit? Sandy shows up there, right? And then she bitches about everybody else the whole fucking time. She doesn't want me to record her, obviously. But then again, like, it would have been nice if the whole last week I would have had a recording device that wasn't full or having issues with compatibility with my computer. Like, this phone was the one that was able to plug into this, and I could take my pictures off of it. Well, now I plug it in, and it'll charge the thing, but that's it. It doesn't transfer any of the files. It doesn't free up any space. And yeah, like, for the whole last week, every time Sandy showed up, she has talked about smoking pot with minors. Like, yeah, Sandy, you're not too fucking bright here, and you're lucky that my recording devices are currently too full to record. You're lucky that I can't get it to fucking interface with my computer because I'm not a computer tech dude. It's not so much the words that he uses and the texting and the typing. It's mostly the bullshit in person. Like, he tells me just now, he typed it nicely. He typed, Sean, stop up if you want. I didn't leave. Same message yesterday and the day before, and what happened when I went up there. Same thing, listening to him bitch about Sandy Fromm, and then Sandy shows up. Like, this is the woman who threatened to kill me, all right? And this dude's a witness to that. Like, dude, I've had to put up with this shit for 4 goddamn years. And this is after an entire life of literally anybody can do anything that they want to me and get away with it. This is way worse. The situation with Natalie was way worse. It's one thing to blow off somebody because you think they're mentally ill. You just assume that we are mentally retarded. It's another thing entirely when it results in people being dead. It's another thing entirely when it results in years of physical, psychological, and financial abuse against a disabled person who cannot take care of themselves. I cannot defend myself. All these people who are going to help me in person, from Dan Faber to Layla Johnson, aka Layla Doonan, aka Missy Johnson, to Cara Rogers, to Aaron Cockerham, and a whole lot more. They're just internet goddamn wingnuts. This was fucking entertainment to them. And when it turned out that helping me out would require some work, you can see how screwed up those who hate me worked. I mean, they were working hard, and I needed help because those people were working so hard. Because those people who hated me, who were threatening my life and spreading that slander, were working so fucking hard with all of their resources pooled together, working together. Meanwhile, all of my resources were being spent to pay officers who had assaulted me, officers who had refused to do their job because I have a penis, officers who used mentally ill as their excuse for not doing their job. It's one thing to say that somebody is crazy and fucking flipping shit for no goddamn reason. It's completely different entirely when that person has been trying to get help and has been blown off their entire goddamn life. All this stuff you guys keep telling me to do, I have to start over everywhere I fucking go. In order to get a fucking court date, I need to have somebody who is not me go in with me and help me fill out that paperwork. Without somebody else who's not a fucking coward, I have to deal with this for the rest of my life. I do not have the credit to be able to jump through any of the hoops that you want me to jump through. And all of you have the same excuses. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. No, it is all of your fault. It is your fault because you know that it's not just me. You know that there are so many people being treated this way, and all you say is you're fucking sorry. You could do something other than make excuses and say you're fucking sorry. I need a voice. All of my predators got away with it because I wasn't allowed to defend myself. The law, as it's written on paper, says the things that these officers, these judges, the Bollingers, and the general public have done to me is illegal. But it doesn't matter what it says on fucking paper if you don't fucking care. It doesn't matter how illegal it is on paper when they spend all of their time trying to run you over, railroad you, and prevent you from fucking showing anything. They intentionally let the Bollingers continue these actions over and over and over again. And none of you are speaking out. I'm not black, so BLM doesn't give a fuck. I am not the right color to be a goddamn victim. Most of these women who promise me that they're going to help, they're not going to. In the end, they're going to do the exact same thing that everybody else does. Empty fucking promises until it's time to keep your word. Meanwhile, people don't care about the impact on my life. They don't. The dude who owns this little shed that I'm staying in, the bullshit from his psycho stalker ex affected me greatly. She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to fucking hear it. The last 3 times I've seen her, I have listened to what the fuck she has to say. All 3 times, I didn't get to say what I needed to. My emotions didn't matter. How her drinking affected my life doesn't matter. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit how her drinking and her decisions while drunk affected my situation, but she expects me to listen to her. People say, oh, dude, you're not mentally ill. You're fucking smart as shit. You should be able to figure this stuff out. Yeah, I should be able to figure out how to not somehow magically not be disabled anymore. Because I'm smart. My back should magically be able to fix itself so I can jump through all your hoops, shouldn't it? Because I'm smart, I shouldn't have been treated like a fucking idiot, right? But you're not going to do a goddamn thing. I still have to deal with the bullshit from Sandy Fromm. I still have to deal with the shit from Chris Kurth. There have been no consequences for any of my fucking predators. None. All of them got paid and continue to get paid for what they did to me. I need a fucking voice. Of all these fucking places that I have called, all of these places that I have went, all of these places that I've taken my evidence, all of them victimized me for it. Until I have nothing. I don't have the ability to jump through your goddamn hoops. If you go and see somebody in a wheelchair and you tell them that they have to go up the fucking stairs on their own, and then you beat the fuck out of them when they don't make it to the top of the goddamn stairs, are you the fucking good guy? You get to pretend like you're the fucking victim when they're saying, hey, fuck you, knock it the fuck off. Then these goddamn druggies, they send their friends after me. You don't have the balls to do it yourself, so you send your friends after me. Women do this especially. Look at the situation with Natalie and the drugs she was on and the fucked up shit that she was doing. And pretend I don't have a right to fucking curse about the situation. Look at how much effort that I made to try to show the fucking truth, to try to get a day in fucking court so I could defend myself against these goddamn monsters. And because the police blew me off, like Jordan Anderson, Jared Hahn, and Cody Selhorst, in addition to the goddamn sheriff of this town. Is that my fault? That boy Melly type Sean, stay strong, man. I can only imagine what you're going through behind you 100%. Wouldn't speak out. I'm certain your name isn't Dat Boy Melly. I'm sure you have a real fucking name. If you pull fucked up shit, there's no consequences for you. You're not even using your real fucking name. Daniel Apathy, that's pretty obviously not his real fucking name. People make promises until I have the means, and then somehow magically they can't keep their word, and it's my fault. And I'm not allowed to bring up the fact that they didn't keep their word because then I'm a terrible person and they treat me like shit. I'm not allowed to bring it up in court because I'm not allowed to speak in fucking court. I'm not allowed to show evidence in fucking court. When you are called mentally ill, you have no goddamn rights. Alcoholics like Rand Ingersoll can do whatever the fuck they want. Alcoholics like Shannon Alvarado can do whatever the fuck they want. Abusive officers like Waylon Lolatai can do whatever the fuck they want. Fucked up facilities like Clearview can do whatever the fuck they want. When you are called mentally ill, you have to have someone there for your protection. People keep telling me shit like it's not my fault. It's not my fault. No, it is the fuck your fault. Brandon Ratner, it is your fault. Because after 3 years, you still haven't written a goddamn report. Yes, Miss Peaches, it is your goddamn fault. You helped my fucking predators, lied out your ass to me, wasted my fucking time and resources, and then shat on me. No, you don't get to play victim because I showed the fucking truth. None of you do. If you're gonna hide your goddamn name like a coward, you're not trying to help. You're fucking manipulating and you're a piece of shit for it. When you call somebody mentally ill, you make them a victim for the rest of their life. You owe it to me to fucking kill me at this point. Starmagia typed, I used to have a friend that I'd help out all the time, and the one time I needed them, they were not there for me. You know, there's a bunch of people that all I needed them to do was tell the fucking truth. Go in with me so that I wouldn't get treated like this by the police. And they didn't. None of those witnesses wrote a fucking report despite their fucking promises. Instead, they took me for all I was worth, and when I had nothing left, they fucking booted me like I was trash. Lady I got that tattoo equipment from, her name was Lexi Delgado. Sorry, not Lexi Delgado, Lexi Woods. And Lexi Woods, she couldn't come forward and couldn't come forward, but she kept on calling me every time she had an issue with her boyfriend. See, that's the thing is, we're expected to help, but you expect us to just take it. All the shit that I needed her to say, she did eventually say it. She typed it to me in a phone that I no longer have because we was in an argument. We were in an argument. Why? Because I did everything I could to fucking help her. But she couldn't even open her fucking mouth. Because she's a goddamn alcoholic. Then, when I had to flee the state of Colorado because not one of these motherfuckers, not Neil DiMaccio, not Ogre, not Brandon Ratner, not Miss Peaches, not one of these motherfuckers came forward. Not one of these motherfuckers kept their word. All of the shit that people keep telling me I need to jump through now as if I didn't try. I jumped through all that shit before Natalie fucking died because I was told if I jumped through these goddamn hoops, I would get help. Chapel, Nebraska is a fucking shitty goddamn town. There's no such thing as a good person in this town. If there is a good person, they're afraid of all the shitty people to the point that they're not functionally a good person. They're afraid and they're not doing good things. Yeah, I don't need empty fucking words. Brandon Ratner tells me after fucking 3 years, he's like, well, I got writer's block. When Lexi Delgado wanted help with her ex-boyfriend who was beating on her, I was willing to help. But none of these people coming forward, none of them making an honest effort to go in with me. That's the only way to get it done. I mean, there's plenty of conversations with people on here where they say, well, I went in, I wrote something, I went in. They throw that in my face. Hey, Sean, I went in. You can't prove to me that you went in. You don't know the name of the officer. You don't know when it happened. You don't have it recorded. There is no evidence whatsoever to suggest to me that you actually did what it is that you said you did. The fact that you never wrote it down and never spoke up in court, well, that really casts a lot of doubt on your fucking bullshit. I want to believe you, but look at how much abuse that I have had to endure while you claim that you care, and you still said nothing. Miss Peaches helped out my predators. When I was at Ken and Leah's, I left there to try to get help from Miss Peaches because Ken and Leah were stealing all my money and I couldn't see my loved ones because of the Natalie bullshit. Natalie wasn't even dead. Now, what possible reason could I have for going to Miss Peaches and to all these other people for help when Natalie wasn't even fucking dead? For that entire year, Natalie was alive, I was going through hell, and I was getting blown off. Then people realized, oh, maybe we should have fucking paid attention to Sean instead of treating him like a retard. When did they figure that out? After Natalie got shot in the goddamn head. After I was made a target America-wide by the media. After I was repeatedly cut off from being able to fucking speak or communicate. It's not my fault that Miss Peaches is a fucking retard. She is fucking stupid. You guys don't like hearing that word out of me, do you? I don't like saying it. For an entire year before Natalie died, I was just waiting on Miss Peaches to keep her word to make some fucking time. And an entire goddamn year, she didn't make time. She promised she would. And I went there. And they were bitching about cigarettes and bitching about weed, bitching about food. Like, here's all that I have. Let's fix those situations so you can keep your word. Sean, I can't help you because I got to spend the next week trying to come up with $125 for rent. Well, fine, here's $150 for rent. Can you help me now? The volunteers are fucking monsters. The police are fucking monsters. And you are fucking monsters. I don't have the same rights as you. Get that through your fucking head. I don't have the same help as you. Get that through your fucking head. I don't have any protection from predators. After a 4-year goddamn smear campaign that has prevented me from having even one fucking court date. These were not court dates. They weren't. You listen to that conversation with Brandon. He went to that court date in Wyoming. He should have spoke up about the fucking first one. He should have spoke up in 2018. Matter of fact, if he hadn't been busy doing what everybody else did in 2017, which is tell me how to think and feel, he'd have known what the fuck was going on, and he could have fucking helped before Natalie was fucking dead. Same thing with Joanna Taylor Smith. Too busy telling me how to think and how to feel, mostly in fucking texting. I'm like, fuck, call and listen. Call and actually fucking listen to what I'm trying to tell you. All of the stuff that I was afraid of, I had good reason to be afraid of. I understand human nature. You guys are fucked up. You go back to that rapist repeatedly as long as you got a fucking scapegoat dumb enough to come bail your ass out again. Men in this country bend over backwards for ungrateful women. Ungrateful. After you have broken your back for them, if they don't get what they want, they will still run around to all of their friends and all of your friends talking shit. They will run around and slander your name everywhere. They will make empty promises to help you and will not follow through. And this is what we teach these American princesses. People don't start off being that fucked up in the head. We have taught the American public, both men and women, that women can victimize anyone they want. A man can be convicted on a woman's opinion. Whereas a man needs an act of fucking God to get somebody to look at goddamn evidence. You pretend that I'm a stalker because I'm trying to get help stopping the abuse that I have to endure from stalkers, actual stalkers. We got Sandy Fromm, who is seriously a fucking middle school stalker. That is what the fuck she is. Since day one, all she has wanted to do is stalk Toby Smith. How about leave the dude the fuck alone? The lady who's staying with Toby Smith, she doesn't have a key to the house. Why is this woman there? Toby doesn't feel safe. This lady's telling me, hey, Sean, I can't stay gone long. You know, I came over because I wanted to visit for a couple of minutes, but I can't stay long. I left the door unlocked. You know, he'll understand. I'll just tell him I went to the gas station or something. But, you know, fucking Sandy Fromm is a goddamn wingnut. Like, yeah, I know that. I mean, this is a woman who is so fucking batshit goddamn bonkers that a guy in Chapel, Nebraska called the fucking sheriff on her. Toby himself. Yeah, he called the sheriff. But also, you look at Toby and his age, you look at his physical abilities, you look at what he's capable of doing after his stroke. Yeah, he can't defend himself against Sandy Fromm. This woman is not allowed to legally own firearms, and she's got a whole house full of fucking guns. It's fine though, right? Natalie Bollinger wasn't allowed to have firearms either. Same thing with Ted Bollinger. That didn't stop them, did it? That didn't fucking stop them, did it? All it did was make me easier to victimize. All these people like, Sean, why don't you get a gun? Why don't you get a gun? Why don't you get a gun? Well, because unlike Sandy Fromm and Natalie Bollinger and Ted Bollinger, I've been trying to follow the fucking law. Despite the fact that the law is what's making me a victim at this point. It's not my fault that these people were all fucking cowards. But them being cowards doesn't detract from the fact that I did record the conversations. I did save the emails. I did save screenshots. But because of the term mentally ill, I have to depend on one of these people to keep their word. And a lot of y'all seem to think that I put all my eggs in one basket. Like I'm going to put all my eggs into Joanna Taylor Smith. No, absolutely not. I went to a lot of people for help because I needed fucking help. The situation with Sandy Fromm, that dude up north. I need his help. He's not going to. He doesn't care. He treats me the way that Americans treat males. All these officers want to pretend like I went in there the first time we met in crisis. No, I went there multiple times to get help. I was blown off. That's why I ended up in crisis. Scott DaCosta wanted to try to pretend that all of the times that I went down there and talked to him and his officers in 2018, that it was just one incident where I was screaming. Like, no, dude. I talked to you or your officers on at least 20 occasions before I raised my voice at you son of a bitches. And each one of these people did exactly what I told you they were going to do. Turn off their body cameras and make it their word versus mine. That is never acceptable. When a person is assumed right just because they have a badge, or assumed wrong just because somebody slandered them, we don't have anything in America worth fucking fighting for. If the poor people don't fucking matter and we're not entitled to the rights of the Constitution, you guys need to leave them the fuck alone. My personal belief is that every single homeless person needs a firearm for their own protection. You guys, well, you know that most homeless people are not going to have a firearm. That makes them easy prey. You know, if you steal from them, they ain't going to fucking shoot you in the goddamn head. Kind of like when you steal from family, you know your mom is going to be pissed off, but she ain't going to kill you over it. Sorry, folks. Not sure if you can hear that. If you can, I had to tinkle. It's my Darigold toilet. I live on a fixed income. All of the money that I really needed to spend on courts, on being able to get back and forth to them, I'm spending to replace everything that's been stolen. I'm spending it to try to replace vehicles. I'm spending it to try to replace computers that were stolen. I'm using it to try to I've been trying to get assisted suicide legal for a long time. Help me or kill me. If I'm not human enough for you to help how Natalie got help, then kill me. Because she was the one who was the predator. She was the one who got help. You treat me like I'm a bad person because somebody else shot her in the fucking head. She was suicidal before I ever fucking met her. Met her and her friends, her druggy friends. They made my life hell for an entire year and nobody fucking cared. Except for Tamara. With all these other people, I jumped through their hoops for help that they promised and never showed up. At least with Tamara, she showed up. At least with Tamara, she understood how vulnerable I was. But Tamara was sober. That makes all the difference in the world. Tamara's familiar firsthand with autism. Makes all the difference in the world. There's two types of parents of autistic children. There's parents like my autism advocate and parents like Tamara. Parents who understand their children, understand their vulnerabilities, understand that they can't protect themselves, they're not allowed. And then there are parents like Leah Plunkett, who exploits the living shit out of it, who uses her son's disabilities to try to manipulate money out of people so that she can go spend it on herself, on drugs, on going to concerts. She doesn't care about her son's interests. She only cares about her own. She wanted to get some special paperwork so that she could own him after he turns 18. She also said that if she could have her son chemically castrated, she would. She doesn't want him to have kids. The boy's problems don't stem from autism. They stem from abuse. The whole time I was there, Ken and Leah let him know he's not a human being. He's not somebody who anybody actually gives a shit about. And that's pathetic. When I went to Ken and Leah's to get my stuff, I went there the first time with Miss Peach's brother, Gilbert. And while I was there, Ken and Leah's son was talking to me. He was glad to see me. They weren't, but he was. When I went there with Brandon Ratner to go searching through my stuff and get my things, same thing. But the situation with James, I was able to collect enough evidence and put it on here to show you, yeah, Jamie was playing fucking head games. That situation that happened up there in Montana did fucking happen. Just that after you do fucked up shit like that, and then you get back with your predator, or the person that you ran around telling everybody is a predator. Of course, that's Jamie's MO. When she had 6 guys all lined up on a string, she was playing them all. From Otska, Todd Rust, to Hayden McCall. I told her, I don't want to be one of your suitors. She said, that's why I like you better than them. When she kept on playing head games with me, she'd tell me she was interested in me. And then it's time to watch her kid because she's wanting to go to Scotts Bluff. And then she comes back, she's drunk, and she's telling me about having sex with Jesus. No, it wasn't literally Jesus. She wasn't having a schizophrenic episode. It was just a guy in Scotts Bluff that looked like Jesus. And apparently her and Jackie had sex with him. And then they changed their mind because Jamie wanted to continue to pretend she was interested in me when she was sober. So then she's like, no, that didn't happen. We were just talking about how great it would have been if it did. Like, no, you were straight up talking about it. As if you'd have done it. As if you had done it. Like, don't pretend you're interested in me and then tell me about the other people you're having sex with. I don't want to hear it. If I'm not good enough for you, I'm not good enough for you. Can we at least go back to being friends? I don't want to be one of these fucking suitors that you string along and bullshit and run around telling the other dudes that he's such a bad guy, and then you tell him he's a good guy, but that all these other guys are bad guys. Hayden McCall, every time that he was done with Jamie, says, I'm fucking done with her, dude. She keeps playing head games. I don't want to talk to her again. So he went and got himself a girlfriend. And then Jamie had to invite him over. Had to try to prove that she's still got it. Oh, yeah, I can still have Hayden McCall if I want him anytime I want. I mean, I'm young and pretty, and his girlfriend's young and pretty, but she's a lot bigger than me. So I've still got the body. I could totally steal Hayden McCall from his girlfriend. And she did a great job. He showed up. And I sat with him on the front porch. This is when she started going out with James. And I was sitting with him on the front porch and I was explaining to him, I'm like, dude, this is who you are to me. And this is what Jamie tells me about you. He says, well, that's the same thing she tells me about you and Otska and Todd. And I'm like, that's part of being a player, is convincing the people that you're playing not to talk to each other. She used to come tell me about some fucked up thing about Otska, and I'm like, well, I'll fucking do something about it. But she wasn't telling me because she wanted something done about it. Matter of fact, as soon as I tell her I'm going to do something about it, she gives me 400 excuses why I can't do something about it and why I shouldn't say something. So this guy at the north end of town, I'd rather sit here and bitch about him for a couple hours on fucking YouTube because at least I'm allowed to speak. At least I don't have to hold it in for fear of getting snapped at and not getting to speak. If you won't hear it and I say it on YouTube, hey, you had plenty of opportunities to hear it. If I ask you to tell the truth, to come forward with it, and you promise me that you're gonna, and you just never do, don't be surprised if it does show up on YouTube or Facebook. I'm not fucking around. My loved ones are fucking dead. Do you not get that? Not one or two, not 20 or 30. Homeless people expire quickly. I already knew that my family didn't care. I already knew that they weren't going to help me. I already knew that asking a bunch of child molesters, rapists, and fucking drug addicts for help is not productive. But going to the police wasn't productive. And a lot of these people, it's not like they informed me that they were alcoholics or meth addicts before I showed up. Would have been nice to fucking know. Yeah, Sean, I'll go in and talk to the cops with you. Turns out Brett's too fucked up on meth to know up from down most days. He thought it was pretty fucked up that there's a video of him digging through his own feces on my YouTube. Why was he digging through his own feces? Because the cops pulled him over the night before and he swallowed a bag of meth. He was hellbound and determined that he was going to get that dookie meth out of there and he was going to smoke it. Like, goddamn, how do you get that bad? Y'all say I just got to let it all go, but the consequences are here for the rest of my life. You don't get that. I can't take care of myself. When I went to Rihanna's It was supposed to just be me and Rihanna. And then it turned out there was an emergency with Amy's kids. Amy knew that Rihanna could not fucking take care of those kids. I had to be the fucking adult. I can't take care of myself, and I've got to be the adult for an alcoholic and two fucking brats. We train girls how to play victim in the United States, and that's pretty much their first-hand education. The dude rapes you, but you're in love with him, so you're not going to do anything. But you go to a dork like me because you want help. Then after I help you, you throw me away like I'm garbage and go right back to the dude that fucking beats you. And then there's the running around town telling everybody what a horrible fucking terrible person I am because reputation, right? A lot of women, when they call up to say that something happened, like with Jamie when she called me up and needed a rescue up there back in 2016, I turned around and I fucking rescued her. Then, like, she was kind of dumb. She didn't realize that I'm willing to talk to James like a human being, and James was willing to talk to me like a human being. It was James's family, Jamie's bullshit that really complicated the hell out of that. It's not James's fault, and that's not my fault. Jamie is a player. That's what she does. The fact that she got her son involved in the lies and the manipulation is completely fucked up. On the bright side, I can now say that while I was in South Dakota, I got my marijuana from Jamie. No, it wasn't actual marijuana. It was one of them THC pens that are so popular. I don't want her going to prison. She's got a son to take care of. With her son's drug history and her drug history, there needs to be some monitoring there. The boy deserves a better life than that, for damn sure. On the bright side, he's a hell of a shot. The boy reminds me a lot of me. His interests are pretty well the same as mine. A lot of the books that he's reading at his age are books that I read at his age. His interest in machines, he likes military machines, same as I do. He's really into World War II, not as a warmonger, but as a historian. Jamie's pretty. You can hear in the conversations between me and James about the situations in the past. Like when she was younger, she was pretty. She didn't used to be. She used to have a big gap between her teeth, and she changed quite a bit after she got braces and then got her braces taken off because her teeth were straight. And she smiled all the time. And people sure love it when you smile, especially when you're pretty. And you're smiling because, wow, this is what it's like to be pretty. This is what it's like to be the center of attention. This is what it's like to have dudes have a crush on you. This is what it's like. When she pulled that fucked up shit, she thought she was just going to pretend that nothing ever happened. I'm taking a lot of help for this, Jamie. You can pretend that it's not happening, but as long as I'm taking the abuse, I'm gonna fucking speak out. I recorded that conversation with James, and I recorded them conversations with your son. They're all on here. I was able to download both of the conversations with your son to YouTube. They're both set to private. I'm tired of people fucking treat me like shit and getting away with it. I'm tired of having the evidence that they have done these things and nobody will look at it. I'm tired of people magically forgetting the roadblocks that I got to go through over and over and over again every time they make the same goddamn suggestions that I have already jumped through. You expect me to be nice all the goddamn time while you're lying through your teeth at me. You expect my fucking help every time that you fucking call, every time that you fucking ask. You expect it of me. And I do see, you know, part of the reason that he's up there and he lets her in. You know, he's got a bunch of stuff that's just junk that he's trying to sell. He wants to get the money out of it. Everybody's having financial problems. So Sandy shows up and fucking roots through his shit and gives him money. And still, I got to listen to her fucking bitching the whole time. I keep wanting to record him bitching about her for an hour and a half. Yesterday, I was like, I'll go up there. I should probably record it though, because he's probably going to bitch about Sandy for an hour at least. I thought the same thing the day before and the day before that. I'm trying to get this stuff working. I'm not a technical guy. I'm not a computer dude. The reason I needed somebody to go in with me is so that they wouldn't automatically assume my guilt like they did. So they wouldn't use the term mentally ill as an excuse to victimize me rather than look at evidence. So the cops couldn't just turn off their cameras, blow me off, or threaten me and pretend it didn't happen. When somebody is called mentally ill, they have to have someone there for their protection to do any of this. And nobody wanted to hear that. Nobody wants to make any efforts to understand that. None of these people who are witnesses understand that, hey, if it's my word versus theirs, yes, you do need to fucking speak up if you were there. Instead, they procrastinated and treated me like I'm a bad person when I fucking ripped their ass for helping my predators. Miss Peaches literally did all of the fucked up shit that she did to me over Blaine McCrelius. This is the boyfriend of the woman who I went to her for help in 2017 because I was assaulted. I was assaulted by Dawn Bird because I wanted my goddamn money. Ken and Leah should not have taken advantage of a disabled person and taken their money under false pretenses and fucking spent it on fucking drugs. That's not what should have been fucking done. But if I don't jump through your fucking hoops, if I'm not capable of jumping through your hoops, it makes it okay to fucking victimize me. It makes it okay to ignore the abuse that I'm fucking enduring. It makes it okay to steal my shit. It makes it okay to falsify evidence. It makes it okay to destroy evidence. They can do whatever they want until one of you son of a bitches realizes that I am not allowed to defend myself. The guy who lives here, he's allowed to be fucking depressed. He has help. He has family help. If he's depressed and he asks for help, his family helps. He doesn't have to listen to them for fucking ever and a goddamn day saying, I can't help you, I'm depressed. I can't help you, I've got my own problems. You know what? The police are claiming that I wasn't trying to get help. So the least you could do is admit to the goddamn cops that I tried to get help and that you couldn't help because you're too fucking depressed. People expect me, without all of the help that he has, to be able to jump through these hoops. They expect me to be fucking happy about it. They expect me to not get depressed. They expect me to not be shut down. This guy was handed everything that I fucking needed. He was handed what it is that I busted my ass for. His family literally bought this house for him, and he has to pay them back. But he's taken his dear sweet time about paying them back. He's able to refinance with his family twice since I've been here. They handed him the house that I would have bought had Natalie Bollinger not been shot in the head. The money that I was going to spend to buy this fucking house got spent going to court date after court date after court date for my public pretenders to repeatedly not show up, for them repeatedly not to show up to our meetings, for their investigators to repeatedly not show up for our meetings and not inform me that they're not going to show up. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. No, it is their fault. It is Zoe Tanner's fault that I spent hundreds of dollars to go see her for appointments that we had, and she didn't show up. She did not get a hold of me to say that she wasn't going to show up. She just didn't show up. That is her fault. The things that Zoe Tanner did were illegal as fuck. When I tried to fire her after that bullshit with her fucking boss, Catherine Hayes, what happened? I had to go into the courtroom by myself. No attorney. And they told me that I couldn't have an attorney unless I signed a piece of paper saying that I wouldn't go after the public pretender's office. I told them I wasn't going to sign that piece of paper. I was being victimized and railroaded. Those public pretenders not doing their jobs destroyed my chances of being able to defend myself against these goddamn predators. In each and every one of these cases, the police had to break the law. Had to break the law. And I'm not allowed to show that in court. I'm not allowed to show that the reason that I am being victimized is because the police don't want to do their fucking jobs. They don't want to get in fucking trouble, and they will get in trouble if they do their jobs because they didn't do their jobs when they were fucking supposed to. I need someone who gives a shit, not somebody who's going to be pretty fucking words from hundreds of miles away. People in this town aren't going to help me. They don't want their reputations tarnished. They don't give a fuck about the truth or not. See, that's the thing, is I'm taking this abuse because nobody bothered to check into the truth of this fucking bullshit. These fucking druggies lied out their fucking ass because they were on fucking drugs, and I had been through 4 years of hell for it. You tell me, Sean, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Sean, if you hadn't yelled, hey, let's take a look at the situation of fucking Shannon Alvarado's. I yelled once the whole goddamn time I was there. Once. Now, don't get me wrong, when I was making my videos, you're damn right I was fucking raising my voice. I was fucking overwhelmed. I'm listening to Shannon Alvarado and her fucking boyfriend streaming at each other every day. I need help, and they're too busy getting drunk and treating each other like fucking shit. And I had to be afraid to speak up. Why? Because Shannon's a goddamn alcoholic. What happened when I did speak up? Shannon threw a goddamn tantrum like a fucking 5-year-old. Rick McCormick threw a goddamn tantrum like a 5-year-old, screaming at the top of their lungs like they did every fucking night that I was there. And you want me to get shit done with these people doing this? You expect me to not have sensory overload with these people fucking screaming at each other every fucking night until 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning? I'm waiting on Graham, who's supposed to fucking send that shit on Friday. He was supposed to give me money so I could get my vehicle out. He wanted some of my tools. I made a deal with him. I needed $100 more to make sure that my insurance was covered so that I could get my vehicle out. He was going to give me that $100 on Friday. And come Friday, he gave me $35 because he spent the rest on fucking booze. So that made it so that I had to flee the state of fucking Colorado. I had to flee the state of Colorado because of that $100. Now, I told him, hey, if you're not able to do it, let me know right now because I need that money. I am fucked if I don't get that. But no, come Friday, he gives me $35 and expects it all to be fine. What did he get out of my? Did he get the tools that he wanted? Yes. And he got all of the rest of them too. They get to keep everything that was there. They get to take advantage of my disabilities just like everyone else, and they get rewarded for it. Fuck all of you for not fucking killing me.